Okay, so today we are diving into something that sounds like it's been pulled straight out of a science fiction movie. We're talking about tiny, lab-grown bits of human brain that can actually learn things. Yep, you heard that right. Intelligence in a dish.
And really, it all boils down to this one huge question. Is it even possible? Can a clump of neurons sitting in a petri dish, totally disconnected from a body, actually be taught to do something new? Well, the answer is kinda mind-blowing.
So to figure this out, scientists turned to a classic test from the world of AI and robotics called the cart-pole problem. Now that sounds super technical, right? But I promise you we've all done a version of this. Just think about trying to balance a broomstick or even just a ruler upright on the palm of your hand. You have to constantly look at it, see which way it's tilting, and make all these tiny, super fast adjustments to keep it from toppling over. That's the whole idea. You're learning from feedback in real time.
And that is exactly what brings us to this amazing breakthrough from researchers at the University of California, Santa Cruz. They decided to take that exact challenge and give it to a tiny, lab-grown brain.
What they did was they took these brain organoids, which are these incredible, miniature, kind of simplified brain-like structures that they grow from human stem cells, and they basically plug them into a video game version of that cart-pole problem.
So how in the world does that even work? Well, it's all done with what's called a closed-loop system. First, they send electrical signals into the brain tissue that tell it the angle of the pole. Think of it like a sense of sight. Then, the organoid's neurons fire up in response, and that activity is read as its decision to move the cart left or right. But here's the absolute key. An AI coach is watching, and it sends back another signal, feedback, to tell the organoid if it made a good move or a bad one. It's just a constant cycle of trial, error, and reinforcement.
And the results? They were absolutely staggering. This was clear, undeniable proof of learning. When the organoid first started, its success rate was only about 4.5%, basically just random guessing. But after training, after getting that feedback from the AI coach, its success rate shot up to 46%. This was the very first time anyone had shown real, goal-directed learning in a brain organoid. It wasn't just reacting to stuff, it was actively learning how to achieve a goal.
Now that's incredibly cool all on its own, but the real implications here go way, way beyond just playing video games. This technology is becoming a revolutionary new tool for medical research, especially in the fight against devastating diseases like Alzheimer's. You see, for decades, we've had to rely on animal models, mostly mice, to study human brain diseases. And they've been useful, but there are some major limitations. For one, there's a 15% genomic gap between us and mice, and their brains just aren't structured the same way ours are. But brain organoids? They're grown from human stem cells. This lets scientists create models of human brain diseases with a level of accuracy we've just never had before.
And this is where you really see the power. Scientists can actually grow organoids that develop the two classic telltale signs of Alzheimer's disease, those amyloid plaques that build up between the neurons and the neurofibrillary tangles that form inside them. It's like having a window where we can watch the disease actually unfold in living human brain tissue, and that makes it a much better way to test potential new drugs. But the vision for this technology doesn't even stop there. It stretches out into a truly futuristic field, something that honestly sounds like it's from a cyberpunk novel. We're talking about the idea of organoid intelligence.
Organoid intelligence, or OI for short, is this brand new field with a pretty simple but totally profound goal: to harness the brain's natural, incredible computing power to build, well, biological computers. So instead of silicon chips doing the processing, it would be living neural tissue.
To really get why this is such a game changer, just look at this number, 21 million. That's how many watts of power the world's most powerful supercomputer, named Frontier, uses. It is a staggering amount of energy, and it sets the stage for a truly mind-blowing comparison.
Okay, now check this out. While that supercomputer is burning through 21 million watts, the human brain, which by the way performs computations at a speed that's estimated to be in the same ballpark, it runs on just 20 watts. 20! That's about the same as a dim light bulb. The efficiency gap is just astronomical. Organoid intelligence aims to tap into that, to create biocomputers that could learn faster and use just a tiny fraction of the energy of the AI systems we have today.
Of course, as you'd expect, anytime you start building more complex and capable models of the human brain, you inevitably start wading into some very deep, very complicated ethical waters. And we have to start asking ourselves some really serious questions.
This is often called the Greeley dilemma, named for the ethicist who really framed this issue perfectly. At what point does a model of a brain cross some kind of line? When does it stop being just a research tool and maybe become something more?
And researchers are tackling these concerns head-on. Could these organoids, as they get more complex, develop sentience, the ability to feel or perceive things? Could they become conscious? Could they experience pain? And if any of that becomes possible, what kind of moral status do we owe them? Now, to be clear, experts agree we are nowhere near that level today, but these are the questions we have to be asking right now.
The solution that's being put forward is a really proactive one. It's called embedded ethics. And the idea is that ethicists aren't just brought in at the end to review the work. Instead, they're part of the research teams from day one, helping to guide the science and make sure it develops responsibly.
And that really brings us to our final thought. We are standing at the very beginning of a wild new era, one where we are, quite literally, teaching brain tissue how to think. So the big question that remains for all of us is, what will it teach us in return? About our own minds, about our diseases, and maybe about the very nature of intelligence itself.